Mapping uneven brows can be a little bit difficult, but I'm going to show you in this video just how to do it. So first we're going to clean the brows with an alcohol wipe. There's several things you can use to clean the brows, but I prefer alcohol. So after cleaning the brows, the next step would be to grab any kind of pre-ink string and create a line right above the highest brow, like above the arch. And then you're going to place a mapping sticker or a mapping ruler, whatever you want to call it, where you created the line. So now you know that the ruler is on straight. That's the purpose of the line. Now I'm going to determine where the arch is, mark it, determine where I want the tail to end, and mark that. Now, just because I'm marking where I want the tail to end doesn't mean it has to end there. I can always adjust it based on what the results are at the end. Now I'm going to determine the thickness of the brow on the bottom, and then on top, just mark those. And then after that, you're just going to simply connect your markings with a straight line. And if you notice that my pre-draw pencil is super sharp, that's the most important thing when you are doing your pre-draw, is to make sure that your pre-draw pencil is nice and sharp. And if you guys need a tutorial on that, just let me know in the comments and I can give you a tutorial on how to sharpen your pre-draw pencil. So after I connected the front to the arch on both the bottom and top of the brow, I'm now going to go ahead and connect the arch to the tail. And you really want to follow the client's natural brow as much as possible, because the goal is to keep as much of your client's natural hair as possible. So being that her brows are uneven, in order to make them even, you have to bring the higher brow down a little lower and the lower brow up a little bit higher. So we are moving both brows just a little bit to give it that symmetry. And that's how I was able to even out the brows on this client. As you can see by where I'm drawing that top line, I'm actually going to move that brow up just a little bit. And being that she has nice thick brows, the movement isn't going to really be that noticeable because she has full brows anyways, and her brows weren't super uneven. So I'm just using the markings that I created on the other side of the brow to determine where I'm going to mark this side. You want to just make it identical. And then go ahead and fill in the brow with your pre-draw pencil. I like to fill it in because this is the pre-draw for an ombre brow. That way my client can see exactly what her brows are going to look like. Of course, her brows are not going to be black. This is just so she can get an idea of what her end results will be before we go ahead and actually tattoo the brows on. So for me, just coloring it in or filling it in with a pre-draw pencil just gives your client a more realistic look as to what she can expect with the end result. So just quickly fill in both sides. I like to make sure that they're really filled in, no like sparse spots. I want it pretty solid. If you're enjoying this tutorial so far and you would love more brow tutorials, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification button so you'll be notified when I post more tutorials. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and leave any questions in the comments. Okay, now that it's filled in, yep, it's filled in. So I want you guys to go ahead and see that. They look pretty even. So go ahead and take off the ruler. And now we're going to blend out the front, because leaving it the way we just had it would have been way too harsh. We want to blend it out so it can look more realistic for your client. Or otherwise, you're going to focus on that sharp, blocky front and think the brows are going to look like that. I blended it out a little bit too much, so I filled it in again with some pencil. And then take a clean baby wipe. I use water wipes, and just clean off all the markings that you don't need. And then I also use it just to round off the arch just a little bit, so it's not pointy. We don't want any pointy arches. So I just use the baby wipe just to soften the arch. And now you can see how good that looks, but we're not done. I'm going to take my single edge razor and just remove the excess hair. You can see there's not a lot of hair. Again, you want to keep as much of your client's natural hair as possible. This is going to help with the maintenance as well. So I'm barely removing any hair. We just want to keep it looking really fresh and clean. Do the same thing on the other side. Now the trick with using a razor, I love using a razor because it's quick and it's painless for your client. As long as you're stretching the skin, you got to make sure you're really stretching that skin. And then you're going to take any kind of brush. I like this round brush. Get some concealer on it, and we're going to conceal the brow. The purpose of concealing is to really make that brow really sharp and clean, so you can see what the results are going to look like. This is going to help you clean up any kind of smears that you may have made with the pre-draw pencil, and just give you a really clean finished look. And then I also love to just go ahead and thin out the concealer line. That way your client isn't focused on the ashiness of the concealer. I only use one color, and look how sharp that looks.